the touchdown, Dustin Hopkins will kick it away. Hardman going to bring it out of the end zone. And in hindsight, probably should have taken a knee as he only gets this out to the 16-yard line. The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. Well, partner, fast forward with me for a second. Remember, next week they have the open week, so they're going to get some extended rest. Does that change how they manage the rest of this one?
I think it does a little bit, but not by too much, because you're right. You get the extra rest, you get a chance to heal up and kind of, do a little bit of a reset for this team. But it's also 7 extra days to think back to the last time you were on the field. So now, a little more importance on what they're getting done because they carry it with them for essentially 2 weeks.
Right back to him on first down. And they're going to stop him right at the line of scrimmage. Just no cutback lane to be found whatsoever. 2nd and 10.
We talk about defenders, specifically linebackers, keeping their eyes in the right spot. He had that eye down the entire time.
And you know that's not easily done because they throw a lot of misdirection at you. They try and fool you and get your eyes in the wrong place. But you're right about that one. He correctly figured that one out and made a really nice play.
Man open, that's Marquez Valdez-Scantling. And he takes this up to the 40-yard line before being corralled. On first down, Mahomes. All right, rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. Picked by Kenneth Murray. And the Chargers are going to take possession of the football. Boy, he had to fit that into a pretty tight window over the middle. And, Charles, I think they were in zone defensively, weren't they?
They certainly were. A nice read on your part. And sometimes the quarterback isn't fooled between zone and man. Sometimes you're fooled by the type of zone that he sees. Because oftentimes, those linebackers will vacate.
He finds his receiver, Williams, for a Charger touchdown. Mike Williams. 2 catches, 2 touchdowns here so far. And the Chargers are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. Extra point good by Hopkins. And the lead now to 3 touchdowns at 21. Following the touchdown, Dustin Hopkins will kick it away. Hardman going to bring it out of the end zone. And no alley to be found. The coverage was solid, and he's dropped at the 18.
First and 10 at their own 18-yard line.
The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive.
Charles, we'll see what they can do here. Not a ton of time left, but enough certainly to get points out of this drive, and they need them right now because they're trailing.
Yeah, this is exactly why you practice a 2-minute drill all through camp and at least 1 practice each week before a game. A minute left, more than enough time to string a few completions together, reach the end zone, and then make that walk back to the locker room just a little more animated.
From up near the 40 now after the big play to start, here's another 1st and 10. Looking downfield for Kelsey. And that's going to be too high, out of bounds and incomplete.
A deep ball down that right sideline, and he made sure that he put it where either his guy was going to catch it or no one was.
So line of scrimmage still the 39 on 2nd and 10. Mahomes taps this forward. It's a jet sweep. Looking for a cutback lane, but nothing there as he's met at the line of scrimmage.
Nice play design there with the touch pass. Looked good at the start, but bottom line, the defense was ready.
And they did a nice job scouting, didn't they? Not just scouting, but now executing once they saw the play for real after having worked out it all week in practice. They drilled on the play, then they drilled him.
And he's going to come up a few yards short. Brought down at the 45. Mahomes throwing on 4th.
Well, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Asante Samuel Jr. And the Chargers are going to take possession here at their own 33.
He got out of the pocket there, was wondering what he was going to do with it, but I think he was calling, his receiver was calling for the ball, wasn't he?
He certainly was. The problem, he called for it too late, and when he delivered, they were all over him in the secondary and came up with the interception.
The Charger drive about to get going. And defensively, they're just looking to keep him contained as they're able to get him down. So we reach halftime in what's been a fairly one-sided game so far. As we are off to Orlando now to check in with Jonathan Coachman and our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach? Welcome back. Charles and I settled into the booth ready for quarter number 3. It'll be the Chiefs football to begin quarter number 3, and they trail here as we are back underway now on EA Sports.
Hardman going to bring it out of the end zone. And only able to get this to the 19, so probably should have opted for the touchback.
At their own 19-yard line.
The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. And you have to think, Charles, down 3 scores already. They need to play an almost perfect second half to have a solid chance.
Together a touchdown drive here. They need to be smart, fast, efficient, get the ball to the end zone, and do it again multiple times in order to have a
Well, this helps to start a drive. After the penalty, it'll be 1st and 5. To throw, it's Mahomes. And he comes back with one complete. It'll go as a gain of 4. And they'll have a 2nd and 1 forthcoming. And just in general, Charles, on a play like that, how tough is it for the defense to account for a running back essentially being a receiver downfield?
It's very difficult, especially if the running back has skills like a receiver, and you're aware of that before the game even begins. So throughout your practice sessions, you're going to want to be aware of him. Where is he lining up? What can he do? What kind of damage can he do to us downfield? And who can match up with him without weakening our overall defense? You're exactly right. It's a tough task to match up to him.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. Mahomes now to throw. He's got his man. That's Hardman. And he'll go out near midfield at the 49. So much for the run on 3rd and 1. Instead, it's a big chunk in the pass game. 1st down. Now they'll run on the draw. And a pretty athletic run right there as he's going to get this down inside the 40. 78 yards for him on the ground now as he has been terrific here this afternoon. So from Charger territory now, here's a 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line. Here's Mahomes to throw. He's going to flip one out here to his running back.
And he's going to be marked down just inside the 35.
Looked like a pretty good, safe play right there. No, he's had trouble with the interceptions in this game there. Hits his guy out in the flat.
And so many times we hear quarterbacks and offensive coordinators talk about in your progressions, you're either throwing the touchdown or you're throwing the check down. But earlier in the game, it was touchdown or interception. Now he got to the check down, a nice safe throw, and a good one.
Throwing on 1st down is Mahomes. And eventually taken down here. Great coverage downfield. Khalil Mack in there to get him, and that is sack number 6 now for him on the year.
But defensively on the previous play, they gave up a pretty good chunk of yardage, but right there, they got a good portion of it right back.
And if we just flip it around from the offensive perspective, took a nice step forward, and how about a couple of leaps backwards after that play? They've got to figure out a big call coming up here to try and gain that yardage back.
And he'll be taken down at about the 22-yard line.
A gain of 7 yards. And it's 3rd down.
It's been a pretty long drive. This will be play number 9, and they need 10 yards out of it on third. From the gun, it's Mahomes. And he's going to be intercepted for the 3rd time thus far. Picked up by J.C. Jackson. And the Chargers force the turnover. They'll take over at their own 27. So it was a drive that had real promise here to begin the 3rd quarter, but ultimately derailed by the INT.
And that was the position you wanted to be in. Coming out to start this 3rd quarter, get a nice drive going, looking for the end zone. Possibly got a little bit too greedy right there.
The Charger drive about to get going. They had the big halftime lead. Their defense just helped them out further by forcing the turnover, so things are starting to look pretty rosy.
They certainly are, but they've got to be careful about getting complacent, though. They still need to go out and run their offense efficiently. Well, that's just a pile of bodies there, and that's when you kind of find out who's a tough guy, right? Who can stand up and make a play. It was only a 3-yard run, but for both sides, they had to walk away from that feeling like, okay, I can stand up when the going gets tough in here.
They try to throw on 2nd down, but this one is incomplete.
I think he's as fine with that incompletion as a quarterback can be, in all honesty. He avoided his first sack of the game, and he did have a chance of connecting for yardage, just unable to on that throw.
Going to throw on 3rd down with Herbert. Wide open receiver, complete. And he is going to have the Chargers first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
And while we may be looking at the scoreboard, this offense certainly is not, because they're showing no signs of backing down, even with a 3-score lead here in the 3rd quarter. I think they keep taking their shots. They've seen blown leads happen throughout this league. They don't want to fall victim to it themselves.
Despite the heavy running, he'll be hit and dropped shy of the 45. Anthony Brown there on the tackle. Second and 5 now. Herbert, he's got Allen.
It's a gain of 2. Brings up 3rd and 3.
Now on 3rd down, an extra DB out there for the Chiefs. Herbert now. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off by Leo Chanel. 20, 10, and he will take this one home. It's a touchdown. Boy, a big play right there. I mean, a touchdown on this drive could have really put some separation on the scoreboard. Instead, it's the defense who scores. And, partner, we got a game again.
And we do have one because of what you just described. A defense that understood what was going on in this game and did something about it. They knew their offense needed some help. They just provided it. They're back in this one.
Harrison Butker to kick off for Kansas City.
So they throw the pick 6. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. And they'll bring it out to the 25 as Agnew elects for the touchback. The Charger drive about to get going. This is sort of what you would call a put-away drive, isn't it? They score here, especially a touchdown. It's almost out of reach.
It certainly feels that way, and I think that they're going to call their plays accordingly, because what you really want to do, even though you know the scoreboard is still up there and the game's going to go on, in fact, you can take the spirit away from another team, that their drive and will to come back and win can be taken with another score right here.
It's still 3rd quarter, but you just get that feel.
Yeah, they're teetering right there on the brink, aren't they?
Back now at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. It's Charger football, and they've got the lead as well as we begin the 4th quarter. Second
and 6, just inside the 30. Herbert. He finds his target, Allen. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. A 14-yard gain there as they look to improve this 14-point lead.
First and 10 at the 43-yard line.
The handoff, it's Eckler. And he'll work this forward for about 3 and second down.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where there'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
Call it a gain of a couple, and that's going to leave them with a third and about 5.
Sometimes you're aligned perfectly and the play comes to you, and sometimes you got to cover some ground to go make the plays we just saw there.
We saw a great example of perseverance right there on that play.
Got to be careful. They might want to throw one over his head as this game progresses.
And able to find Gesicki as tight end. And he'll be brought down with a first down as the tackle's made at the Chiefs' 40. 12 yards there as they move the chains. So now first and 10 in Chiefs territory, right at the 40. On the give, this is Eckler. Brought down by Willie Gay. I'm sure that's going to be the formula. Just keep the ball on the ground, keep that clock moving.
And when you have the lead this late in the game, above all, stay in bounds. Yes, take care of the football. Yes, gain yardage, but stay in bounds and let that clock tick.
If nothing else, they've already taken a couple minutes off the clock here already as they come up second down. They'll try the right side with Eckler. And they'll get this one to about the 20-yard line. 87 yards rushing for him now as he has been tremendous all day long. No doubt those are the types of carries they're looking for here, Charles. The lead in the fourth quarter. This is when coaches that have a reliable running game, they breathe a little easier on the sideline.
Yeah, they love the idea that they can take the air out of the football at this point of the game. That means they're really counting on that offensive line, counting on the runners, taking care of the football. Because you're going to tell your quarterback, hey, no time to be a hero. We're not going to throw it here. Just eat up that clock. And if you have the ball, they can't score.
And he'll be out of bounds, taking it just shy of the 10 at the 11 or the 12. So the completion results there in 9 yards. And that'll give them a short yardage situation here for second down. They run straight ahead here with Pollard. And he's in for a Charger touchdown. Tony Pollard taking it in from 11 yards out. And the Chargers look like they're going to get back in the win column as they extend their lead here in this fourth quarter. Hopkins with the extra point. And the lead now to 3 touchdowns at 21. Following the touchdown, Dustin Hopkins will kick it away. Hardman going to bring it out of the end zone. And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23.
Take over first and 10 at their own 23-yard line.
The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. And just looking ahead, it would appear that bye week is coming at the right time. They'll have 2 weeks to chew on this one. They'll probably not one that they want to chew on. A poor performance from start to finish. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They tackle them almost on the spot. That means they have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
Looking to throw again on second down. Mahomes. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Derwin James with a pick. And the Chargers are going to take possession of the football. Well, time, certainly not on their side offensively. They had to take some chances, but that interception will further hinder their already slim chance at victory.
Yeah, and you're talking about time not on their side, but it certainly is on the defense's side, and they understood that. They knew they had to press it a little bit, and they planned accordingly, and what a benefit for them, able to pick that one off and hopefully put this game away.
But now a throw on first down there, but it's incomplete. Well, fourth quarter with a 3-score lead here, Charles, but they're still going back to the air and looking for more points.
Well, with this game well in hand, it's an opportunity for the guys to come off the bench and get a chance to play. And a lot of coaches, they want to run their full playbook no matter who's on the field.
2nd and 10. Here's Herbert once more. A quick throw knocked away and incomplete.
Well, they approached this drive with a lot of confidence after their last one ended up as a touchdown. But incompletions on their first 2 throws has them huddling up and trying to figure out a big play here on 3rd down to get their momentum going again.
From the gun, Herbert on 3rd down. Escaping the pressure right. And that will be incomplete. Well, they're up comfortably here, Charles, but that lead certainly not dissuading them from pressing the envelope late. If anything, with these passes, it's like they're getting more aggressive to try to drive the ball downfield.
And that will certainly lend itself to some post-game questions for that coach, and maybe you and I should attend that press conference and see what he has to say, because someone's going to ask him why he continued to push it. My guess, he didn't like how some of the snaps were run earlier, and he wanted to use that as a chance to clean things up, but he certainly will have some explaining to do.
Hardman going to bring it out of the end zone. And this return will net positive as he gets past the 25 and up to the 27-yard line. The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. Where we stand right now in the fourth quarter, this one pretty much out of reach. And, Charles, I know they're going to be disappointed about several things with this ball game, but the self-inflicted wounds, they've had several turnovers. You would have to think that's going to be something they're going to discuss heavily in the film session in the coming days.
You're absolutely right about that, partner, because they're going to have to sit in that film room and watch every error that they made and figure out how to not do it in the future. And mentally, I think a lot of the guys are already starting to think about, okay, how do we put this behind us and get better for the next time out? This, they'll use as motivation for the rest of the time that they play to hopefully never be in this type.
And now here's another interception. And the Chargers are going to take possession of the football. So it's Charger football as we welcome you back from the 2-minute warning. And no doubt what they're looking to do is just salt away the final couple of minutes and escape with a win. Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. With the late lead, Herbert's going to throw it. And a throw right sideline is complete. And down to the 20 he'll go before heading out of bounds. On 1st down, Justin Herbert. Over the middle, and it's caught. Keenan Allen. And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals. So still throwing here in the fourth quarter with a pretty sizable lead, and now that lead even more sizable. And if nothing else here, CD, a chance to pile on some stats before this one wraps up, and he did just that.
Brandon, convention tells us it's time for them to get off the gas a little bit, right? But you and I both know the receivers don't want them to, because, as you noted, this is their chance to pile on the stats. If they got their way, they try to get every single spot in the depth chart points before this game is over.
And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23. The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. Well, we said it at halftime that they would need a nearly perfect second half to erase that deficit that they were facing, CD. But unfortunately, the second half has pretty much been a carbon copy of the first.
Yeah, that early lead was almost insurmountable the way their opponent was playing. And, partner, they do have some good news, though. This one is getting close to being over, and they can try and hit the reset button starting tomorrow.
A good gain on first has him set up with second and just a couple of inches now from the 29. Throwing now is Mahomes.
This ball tipped, and it's going to be incomplete. Fortunate maybe to get that back. It's third down. Another throw there off the mark, and obviously he's battled all of the interceptions. Things just haven't been true to form for him. I don't know. What do you think's going on out there, CD?
That's a great question, and my suspicion is he's been coached really well to not show that he's having a problem. You know, they always tell you no matter what, you keep throwing the football with confidence. Well, we're not seeing a confident thrower right now. He's off balance, the passing game's off balance, and the defense is taking advantage.
What we just saw there, that's really been a common theme all afternoon.
A lot of pressure. That forced the errant pass. He's been under duress this entire afternoon. He just had to unload that when he's fortunate.
And it's a fake here on 4th and inches. And the gamble pays off. They get the first. Anxious moments there on the fake, but they do get just enough to pick up the first down. Looking to throw is Mahomes. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. And down he goes at the 45 after a pickup of 9.
Just about every quarterback is trained to really look downfield first before you come back and make a nice, safe throw. And in this case, that's exactly what he did. Found his running back, let him create some space, and it turned out to be a nice play for the offense.
He's got room at the 30.
Mahomes finding his tight end Kelsey for a big one. 47 yards. The chain gang hustling to catch up. Here's 1st and goal from just inside the 10. Mahomes going to throw. This is caught. And he's across for the touchdown. Too little, too late. But he does get in for 6.
No wonder you're grinning. You just beat me in our fantasy league.
Indeed I did, my good man.
He is putting in a great all-around game, Charles. He already ran one in for a score, and now they utilize him in the passing game.
And they put a lot of pressure on a defensive coordinator and a defense, don't they? Because they're used to him as a runner. But it turns out he's just as dangerous as some of those receivers, and he showed it right there. You don't pay enough attention to him defensively, he makes you pay.
And this will not work out. The Chargers able to recover. Now they're down big here in the 4th. They had to try the onside kick. Can't fault them for the effort at least.
No, you can't at all. And if nothing else, now you've put something that you're trying to practice, right, that you've worked on into a game situation, and now you can go back and dissect it. So if you need it again sometime, maybe you'll find a better way to do it. But, yeah, this game's pretty much done for them.
And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard. And one of the whistles for a timeout. So they'll stop the clock here in a game that's been decided in the closing seconds. The previous run good for 9. Here's 2nd and a yard. Now a give running left is Eckler. And he'll go down at the 28.
This one is, and understandably so. Not only did they get the win, but boy, their offense was on fire in this ball game.
And partner, I have no idea what the top speed is on one of those high-end sports cars. What's the top gear you can get into? This offense, they certainly were there in this one, huh? Everything clicking for them in this contest, the kind of performance that they're going to cherish.
So for the Chargers, the win gets them back to 500 at 6-6 on the year.